Welcome to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and the Peaceful Pet Music, Calm Music for Pets YouTube channel. Today, we're really excited to have Mandi Fleitz, owner of Durham Cat Company, on the show to talk about her journey into business, some transitions that she's made recently and why she did that, and some lessons that she's taken away from those and her time in the industry, plus how she's impacting her clients and giving them an amazing experience. Mandi, I am super excited to have you on the show today. For those who haven't been following along with you and aren't familiar with your company, could you please tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be joining you today. My name is Mandi. I'm a dog and cat mom of 5. And it's funny, I actually have always been more of a dog person. I grew up with cats and dogs in the house, but was always more into dogs. And my first cat showed up under the hood of my roommate at the time's car engine. His name is Turbo, appropriately so. And he was just a couple weeks old, and that actually caused me to fall in love with cats. And now I have 4 cats and a rotating bunch of fosters all the time. So but my friends that know that fun fact like to bring it up and be like, do you remember when you were like a dog person? And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's weird. But it is what it is. I haven't always been in the pet sitting industry. I went to college for fashion merchandising, which is kind of funny when I look back, and I'm always in leggings and t-shirts and hats now, but that's where I was led, all those years ago. Worked a ton of retail management jobs and a bunch of other odd jobs. And then in 2016, I was looking for a way to make just a little bit of extra money. And I was just like, we all were trying to think of something fun that we can do that we love. And I was like, can I work with dogs somehow? Like, how can I make this earn me some money? And so I started walking dogs part-time, and I just kept getting busier and busier, and people kept telling their friends. And it was probably the summer of 2017 where I was like, I think I could actually do this full time. And I haven't done anything else since. So it's been a wild ride, but so much fun.
How was that leaving behind that other trajectory that you were on in fashion, merchandising, retail, and going into this?
It was tough because I had thought I was going to be doing that. And when I chose that career path for myself, I really wanted to do that. And I saw myself going, to New York City or some other big city where fashion is big and merchandising is big. And I thought that's what I was going to do with my life. It's very different, but I wouldn't change a thing, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. You get to your clients are a little bit cuter, I suppose.
Oh my gosh, so much. And they don't talk back as much. I mean, the cats do sometimes, but
it's so funny how vocal they can be whenever you're in there, and how just again, I always love how different they are. Like we have one house where we come in, and they've got this big atrium, and they have 3 cats. And when you come in, it's like a choral going around. They're all just talking and like trying to talk like louder over the last one.
And it like echoes throughout the place. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's always so I always try and get a video of that every time we come in and send it to the client just so they can experience what we get to.
Yes. And I'm sure they love it too. And they say, oh, I miss those meows or those screams or whatever.
Right. So what did your business look like when you started and went full time back in 2017?
So my first business was dog walking and pet sitting. And so that was called Barbie & Company Pet Services. And it was named after my late dog, Barbie. She was my heart and soul dog of 14 amazing years, and named it after her. So the business changed so much in those 7 years that I was running just that. Obviously, at the beginning, I was accepting any and all jobs. I'd travel anywhere and not stick to my policies as I should. I'm sure you get it. But, as I grew into being more of a professional pet sitter and just as a business owner in general, I started to see the things that I liked doing and didn't like doing and how I wanted to steer the business in the future.
You said that phrase, grow into a professional pet sitter and business owner. And I love it because it is just the perfect imagery for what happens as we enter this industry where it's like,
Yeah.
you really have to discover a lot of these things and build up some internal standards. You learn from other people. What was that process like for you in growing to where you are now? Kind of where did you start? Do you remember one particular aha moment of like, oh, I've got to do something different with this?
I think it was just doing it over and over again and all the experience and all the different clients and dealing with everything that we did.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because you can like that experience, like you can't discount that of like, well, I don't know what I don't know, and sometimes I don't even like. There's no way to what is that phrase like the known unknowns and then the unknown unknowns. That's all of my life. It feels like because the
Yeah.
unknowns. I don't even know what I don't know at this point until I experience it. Why I never had a policy for certain things around key lockouts or for last minute cancellations until I experienced that from a client, until I had that thing impact me and I realized, oh, I don't want any more of that. So
Yes.
that's one of the best teaching experiences. And we have to be open to that and realize that, sometimes for me, I know at least I can get hard on myself and be like, man, I should have known. I should have done differently. I should have known about that. But realizing, well, I didn't, but I do
Yeah.
now. And so I need to do different moving forward.
Yeah. And exactly like you said, just making a ton of mistakes, which no one wants to do. I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to make mistakes, but it happened. And yeah, then it helped me do things differently in the future and change policies or create policies because, I didn't have all the things that I have now and all the tools that I have now to help me be successful, including pet sitting software. And so it's now I know the things that can help me do my job the best way possible. So,
Well, and you mentioned you started your first business, so I'm assuming that there's
yes.
another business or two that you brought up along the way.
Yes, I know. And it it sounds crazy when I think about it, or even when I try to tell people about it. But I started the second business in 2022, and that was for cat sitting exclusively. And so that's Durham Cat Company. And I was just excited to see how a cat only pet sitting business would do in the area. So I ran both businesses at the same time, which I didn't plan to do it for 2 years like I did. It kind of just happened that way. And I really wouldn't recommend it, to be honest.
Okay.
Like as you can imagine, the two websites, the two pet sittings offers, two emails, two phones, like two of everything. And it ended up being a lot. But at the same time, I feel like it was necessary because I really wanted to see how it did in the area and if people responded to it as I was hoping they would. And also from a personal side, I wanted to see financially how it was going to do for us and for me and if it could be possible.
Were you already seeing an uptick in cat client requests with the Barbie and me pet sitting, or was this something that you just wanted to strike out and try and find if there was any interest in this at all?
Kind of both. I had really stopped accepting new dog clients around that same time at the beginning of 2022. So, for the 2 years that I was running both of the businesses, I wasn't accepting any new dog clients. So, it really was just testing out cats with both businesses and seeing how it was going to do. Um, but I wanted to see with the branding and everything around a cat exclusive business if people were going to be into that and like if they saw a need and a excitement around that.
Because I know that there's definitely one thought which would just say, well, then you just need to market your cat sitting visits more, right? Just talk
Yeah.
more about cat sitting, more about things. But I think what you're touching on here is there is a certain power to having the ability to have only one narrative, one image, one brand to somebody, right? That really is the
Yeah.
power of niching. And what from my experience, we don't have a cat only business. We do both dog walking and cat sitting and pet sitting and anything as long as it's legal to own, basically, and we
Yeah.
feel comfortable. I'm still waiting for like a cayman in a bathtub. I'm just
Oh
waiting
my
for it.
gosh.
Right. But like, but But there is something to go, what I know from our cat clients is that they are really cat clients. Like they are
Yes.
really cat clients, and they latch on to as much cat specific stuff that we can give. And so by creating this brand and this other business, it really sounds like you're like setting out a beacon kind of in a dark place and being like, over here, right? And
Yeah.
seeing that response.
Yeah. And we did with Barbie and Company, we're trying to push more cats. And we said we're cat focused and we're cat specialists and all these things.
Yeah.
But we were so well known in the community for being dog walking and pet sitting. And then people were still telling their friends. And I didn't want to take any more new dog clients. And so I was turning people away. And it didn't feel good to keep doing it the way that I was doing it. And I had, the banner on the website, like not accepting dogs right now. And it seemed silly. And it was, but I had a plan.
So did you, when somebody call up your Barbie company, did you say, oh, we're not accepting cat clients, but you should contact Durham Cat Company because they definitely are? Did you ever have to do that moment? Because I would totally do that all the time.
A little bit. And I was being a little bit like marketing strategic in it. And if they contacted Barbie and Company, I tried to keep them with them for like software and reporting reasons, because I really wanted to see like how much money Durham Cat Company could bring in on its own
Sure.
without like stealing them from the other business. And it worked because, as you know, Time to Pet has amazing reports and things like that. So I was able to pull all the different reports and compare and see what I was bringing in with each company and how much we're coming in from this one and all the things. So
yeah. And I just, where did that idea come from? Like, did you ever consider not launching a whole nother brand and just, piling more in marketing with the first company?
I did, but I think so I have 4 cats, and when I was looking to travel, I was looking for a cat focused or a cat only pet sitting business in the area, and it just didn't exist. So for one, I kind of wanted just to create it because I knew as a consumer that I would be interested in something like that. So I knew that something was missing in the market. And if I noticed it, I imagined other people would and would want it as well. Um, so that's kind of what stemmed all of it. And I think also just because we had been known in the community for so long, and we have partnered with Durham Magazine a ton. We'd won Best of Durham Magazine 3 years in a row, and had an article, and we did an ad. And so like we were just known for the dog sitting and the dog walking. And I just didn't know if I would ever be able to cut it off and like separate it without just doing something completely different. But I did, because I did think about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why would I create 2 businesses? Why would I create double the work? But I did have a vision, and
Yeah.
it just took a little bit longer than originally planned.
No, I absolutely love it, especially for such a niche service. And as we look to take our businesses into really any niche, I think we really do have to come to terms with sometimes we just need to shut down what we had been working on. And obviously as a business owner, like that's hard, right? It's our baby. Like we want to see it going, and I hold out hope for a possible transformation. But at the end of the day, but practically, like realistically, how long am I going to deal with this? And what is the versus how fast can I get something fresh up and running, right? And so whether that is where you want to focus only on guinea pigs only, or you want to do adventure hikes only, or you want to do cat only, it's, Mandy, I love this because it's reminding me that we have to take a holistic view of where we currently are and go, is there any feasible, realistic way to make this whole transformation where we're trying to go with where we are now? And I feel like a lot of cases, the answer is no. It's better to just start fresh and build from there.
Yeah. And it was really hard. I mean, it is my baby. It was my first business, and, it was named after my baby, like my dog. And so there was a lot of emotions surrounding it just from that side of it. And I was like, I can't close my business. And I think that was another reason why the 2 years went on for so long, because I was like, I just can't. Anytime I thought about it, I was like, no, I just can't do it. And I actually did a session with someone to get some advice before I made the decision, and they advised against it. And so I actually went against their advice and opened the second business anyways. And probably a couple months into it, I was like, did I do the right thing? But, it's fine now.
Yeah.
All good.
So you said that you ran both of them for 2 years, you said.
Yes.
At what point did you know, okay, I need to shut down my first business and focus only on the second one?
There was a lot of things that had happened, but I'm mostly a solo sitter. I do have a very small team, but they're part-time, so I'm the only full-time person. And honestly, just after 7, 8 years, like it was just getting to be a lot. Like we were talking about before with the weather and all the seasons, like just all the dog walking outside and the extreme cold and the extreme heat was really getting to me, and just all the walking in general. It's like I'm not getting any younger, and doing all this walking all the time just takes a toll on your body. And the late nights and the early mornings and the multiple times a day with, the miles in the car and the gas prices always being so high. So there were many factors into why I was trying to move away from dog walking and dog pet sitting. And just as I have gone on and realized what I like and what I don't like, it's not that I don't like dogs. I love dogs. I have a dog, and it's really just cat sitting for me in my life just fit better. And I am trying to do better. I know we all do, all pet sitters, we try to do better with work-life balance. So I was trying to go into the new year with getting a better work-life balance. So we're doing okay so far. We're only, 3 months in, but that is the goal. So
this was a pretty recent transition then, where you finally
yes.
clicked off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. This is still pretty fresh for you, really.
It's pretty fresh.
Adjusting. Yeah.
Yeah. And the past 2 months of this year, so we closed Barbie Company at the end of 2024. So the first 2 months it's been a lot, emotionally and everything else. I have just been coming into, the realization that I closed a whole business, and it was my first business. And then even though I've been running Durham Cat Company since 2022, I'm essentially starting kind of over. This year has felt very new, and just trying to get into a new groove, because I've always had dogs. I've always had dog walks in the afternoon. And so it's just been strange. It's been really weird, but it's been good. Just different.
Yeah, I'm sure that the pulse and the flow, ebb and flow of the company feel different, right? Like,
yes.
When are my busy times? When are my peak times? When can I anticipate to be slammed versus not? And I don't know, like, does it feel weird not staying up till like 11 o'clock at night and being like, or like going to bed early? It sounds wonderful, Mandy. Tell me.
It is wonderful. To be honest, it's great. And I should
try that, I guess.
I know, right?
That's what I'm missing.
Exactly. And it's different, but it has been nice. And that's what I was trying to go for, is just a little bit slower pace life and more work-life balance to do things. Because just all of my friends and family have known since I started my business, like, oh, Mandy's busy. Oh, Mandy works 7 days a week. Like, oh, she can't go. And so it's just trying to slow down a bit and make time for things besides work.
Well, and what a beautiful thing to be able to do, right? Your first business you were able to have your business meet you exactly where you were and what you were able to do at that time.
Yeah.
And now, after 7, 8 years of experience, you're able to have a business that's meeting you where you are now, right? And it's a wonderful reminder too, that just because we start something doesn't mean it has to end looking anything like we started.
Right.
And that we can make changes. And I'm sure it was hard saying bye to different clients and, shutting that part out and managing all those relationships. But at the end of the day, we do have to take care of ourselves. And what would I rather have, a good night's rest or, the relationship with this client? And honestly, we've got to take care of ourselves. That's first and foremost. So how did you go about shutting down that business? And did you refer out to people, or did you sell off parts of it? What was that like?
Yeah, I thought about all the different options, of course, as I was trying to make all the right decisions that I could. I think because I had dialed down my dog clients for so many years, I didn't have a whole lot left to sell. It's the ones that had been sticking with me for years and years, and which I'm very grateful for. So when I finally decided, like, all right, we're doing this, we have a hard like end date. It was so incredibly hard, and I still tear up when I think about it, even these couple months later, because I don't like leaving people, stranded, or just they had been my clients for so long, and I've seen them grow and seen the dogs grow, and some clients, their dogs and pets have died and they've got new ones, so all the challenges and sadness that comes with that, and you just create these relationships, and it was really hard. That was the hardest part for me, was just to be like, all right, bye. But yeah, I worked really hard, and networking and getting a huge list of sitters and walkers in the area, and finding who would be best for who, and what area they service and who can help them. And I made sure to see that they were taken care of, because those were my babies too for so long. So I tried my best to get them taken care of and looked after.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Chris Ann from Raining Cats and Dogs has this to say.
Becoming a Time to Pet client has been a game changer for us. We can give our pet services clients real-time, cloud-based information they never imagined they'd be interested in. And most importantly, to me personally, I can better manage my company and look forward to more. And not a small thing, Time to Pet is responsive to my requests for new features and modifications to existing ones.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. And what a wonderful gift you can give them is not only like I have done my best to care for you. And when my team has had to step in, I trusted them. As I'm leaving, I have done research. I have talked to this person. The way, this is the best fit for you. And because while many of us may think that our clients can switch easily between pet sitters, it's actually really hard. They build relationships. They understand systems. It becomes really sticky, right? When we get those relationships. So it's what a wonderful thing to be able to, instead of just throwing them out to the wind and saying, that's a lot. Right. Being able to just make that introduction and say, in my professional opinion, this is going to be the best fit for you. Like that's another way that you can help them, even when you're not able to help them anymore.
Yeah, it was hard, but that made me feel a little bit better that I could try to help. And hopefully they appreciated it, but
you have to believe that they did, right? Because then it made their life, it was another convenience that you're able to give to them, right? As they made that transition. As you've made this transition, have you felt like you've had to do a lot of education for potential clients on why choosing a specialized cat care company is better over a generic company at all?
Yes and no. I know that sounds weird, but I feel like when when people reach out to us, in my opinion, I think if they're already taking the steps to reach out to us, in hiring a professional cat sitter, they know that their cats are important and they love their cats enough to do the right thing. They're willing to go through all the steps of filling out all the intake forms and communicating with us and doing the meet and greet and filling out the software. And I feel like if they weren't truly invested in good cat care for their cats, they wouldn't do all that. And some do drop off, as they do. They decide to go with friends or neighbors or whatever else, and some come back, but we can help them if we can at that point. But I think just then when we get to the meet and greet, making sure we ask a ton of questions to learn about the cat and have a good understanding of who they are and, their personalities and what they like, so that we can give them that specialized care that they need.
Well, that again is another benefit of why niching like this is really powerful, because the client is already kind of further down the decision tree than otherwise. It's they know the specific pain point. Like they go, oh, that's me, right? That's where I am. So there's very little. Sounds like there's very little convincing to get them on board, because they're basically like, hey, what do I need to do to have you come help me, please? Right? Like,
Yeah.
like they're not looking for the best option. They're looking for, and this is going to sound bad, like, but they're not Googling like top 10 best cat sitters near me. They're looking for the one cat sitter that's going to solve their problem. And that really simplifies the messaging that you have to do and that we have to do as we niche into those services, and helps get them into the company a lot easier.
Yeah. And I think that was my hope when I was brainstorming back in the day of starting a cat only pet sitting business. Is that's what I was hoping would happen, and people would see, oh my gosh, they serve just cats. Like that's the kind of sitter I want. So I'm hoping that I'm doing the right thing there.
Well, I know on your website and some of your marketing and stuff like that, you talk a lot about stress-free visits, and I know that cats are particularly susceptible to stress. How are you going about, or what does that actually look like in a visit, through for the cats?
Yes, and I have a cat who is very affected by anything different at all. He is just super anxious, and so I get it when people have cats like that. And yeah, cats in general just are more like that. But I think just being more generally calm and quiet around the cats. I don't talk loudly. I don't move fast, and just being calm and not startle them or stress them out. I sit on the ground a lot and talk softly and get their favorite toy or their treat, and just learning the things that they like, if they like being brushed, and just trying to be as calm and patient as possible. I have a ton of patience when trying to win a new cat over, especially if they're really shy. It's kind of like a challenge. I'm like, okay, can I get this cat to come out of hiding and play with me or eat or whatever? And so during the trip, I'm like, I'm going to do this. Like, this is a challenge. Let's go. So
you mentioned the not moving quickly and the talking softly. We had a client one time where I noticed that the cat was like really hyper on edge and like was very agitated and was flitting about the room. And I had to be very introspective about myself at the time, because I realized that in looking back, it was wintertime. And so I was coming in with big winter boots. Also, I am a very heavy walker. Some may say I stomp. And so what I realized is I came in and was like clogging around the house.
Oh no.
Boom, boom, boom. And the cat was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And so we kind of had to make it a policy of like, just come in. A, don't walk like me, but B, put your shoes off, take your shoes off, and you can walk a lot softer. And it was amazing the difference that even something so simple was able to make in the progress that we were trying to do with the cat.
Yes. And I noticed that about myself as well. Not the stomping, but I think
it's fine. It's me. It's fine. It's okay, Mandy. I'm okay. I can deal with it.
When I would go to meet and greets, I think I'm just like excited to meet the cats. And I would talk, really high pitched and loud. And I didn't really realize it. And I think one potential client even was like, can you lower your voice? And she said it nicely, but was pretty much like, my cats startle easily. Like, is there any way? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And I didn't even realize. And so that was one thing that I realized in the moment. And then from then on, I was like, softer, Mandy, when you go in, like take it down a notch. Yes.
But you're right. It is hard because we come in like amped, excited. I want to show clients that like, I'm your person and here we go. And I don't, but on the other hand, going, what is this conveying to the cat? And knowing that the client knows their animal and they are looking for all of these signs too. They might not be able to articulate it always as that of, hey, my cat startles easily. Can you tone it down a bit? But they're watching how their cat or dog responds. And so being in tune with that and knowing, okay, while it's important that I have this relationship with this with the person, especially when I'm doing that initial consult, that meet and greet, I need to be looking at how my relationship is progressing with the animal itself.
Yeah. And they're watching you and how the cat's responding. And the biggest compliment for me is, oh my gosh, my cat doesn't do that. Or my cat never comes out for people. Or normally they run and hide. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Well.
Yeah. You don't know who you're dealing with.
Have we met? Yes, we
Right.
did. Anyway.
Exactly.
Well, as you work on those services and making them, specific to them, how do you make sure that you meet those expectations that the clients and the cats have?
Yeah, I think just being flexible and adaptable. I mean, you have to do that in pet sitting anyways, but I think with cats, it's a whole another level. And I think me as a cat mom, I can be a little bit over the top sometimes as well. And so if clients are, going on and on about their quirks, or they have this huge list of things to do or not do, or just instructions in general, and then they're like, oh, I'm sorry, or oh, that's a lot. And I'm like, honestly, no, it's not. Like, that's me. I have the full list and I have their pictures next to each of them with the descriptions of their personalities. You flip it over. Like, I get it. So I think that helps because I can relate. Like, I'm just like you.
Letting the client talk is one of the biggest things. I mean, and that's something I had to learn because I'm a talker, right? I will talk about anything and everything for as long as I have breath. And I had to remind myself of, no, this is a chance for the client to tell me and talk to me. And the more I can keep them talking, the better, because all of these details matter. And you're right. Many times they'll start to feel self-conscious. And I feel like those clients have typically used friends or families, neighbors, and acquaintances where there's this like social debt that they're being placed in, and that they don't want to overburden their neighbor again. Yes. And so they feel bad asking us. And I just did a meet and greet, it was a couple of weeks ago now, where the client was talking and going on, and they were really excited and adamant. And then all of a sudden they just stopped and they turned and they looked at me and they went, do other people talk this much about their cats? Right. And I was like, yes, absolutely. I would love to hear more. Right. And it was just kind of giving them a little bit of that permission to go. And I think that's part of where they feel connected, because they can go, oh, this person gets me and gets my enthusiasm for this.
That's so true and so important. And then a lot of times at the end of meets, people will I see them take a deep breath, or they're like, oh, I feel so much better, like talking through it all, and you're taking the time to listen. I'm like, of course, that's what I'm here for. And I want to be able to know all the things I need to know so that I can do my job the best that I can. So we've started incorporating more photo taking during the new client consultation. We used to do it very sparingly, but now we're being pretty liberal in our photos. And I have found that even, right, once we ask for permission from the client, we say, hey, I'm going to is it okay if I take some photos while we're talking so that I can add this to your profile so we remember where everything is? We've really seen some clients open up and be like trying to showcase things. They're like, do you want me to hold it? Like, go over here. Did you get this photo? Did you get this photo? Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, okay. Like, because and sometimes they had a bad experience where somebody forgot where something was, or maybe they're so concerned that we're going to be completely clueless, right? That they're like, how is anybody going to do this well? Only I can do this. And it's like, well, part of that is, I'm not going to remember every time, because sometimes you might not use me for 9 months. And do I remember the inside of your home? No, but I have a photo that I took last time. So this helps us, right?
Yes.
And it's been really interesting to see how people suddenly start going, oh, here's a tool. Let me use it, right? Take a photo of this. Did you get this photo? And that's been really beneficial in connecting with clients and kind of getting them on board with us as we move forward.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You mentioned the cats and stuff that you've been working with. Do you handle any special needs cats or anything like that with over the years?
Yeah, we have helped a ton of special needs cats, diabetic cats, a cat that needed sub-Q fluids. We actually have a large number of cats on inhalers. And so that's something we have been working through. I don't know why the uptick in that recently, but we have a ton of experience in it now. And then obviously regular pills, the liquid meds, and the transdermal, and all the things. And then watching senior cats, they have their issues with the mobility and things like that. And so we've watched deaf cats and blind cats and ones that don't have full use of their back legs. So yeah, we've had a lot of experience, and it's great. It helps us in the future to know how to handle those cases when we get them again, because we will. And sometimes it creates a little bit more work with cleaning and things like that, because if they're having accidents outside of the box, or they can't fully get into the box, or throwing up more, but it's totally fine. It's part of the job. We're used to it.
Yep. That's why we're here, right?
Yep.
Do you find that, as far as like your client mix, do you find that there are more of those more special needs, special cases versus the kind of young, prime, healthy in their life?
Yeah, I think since opening the cat specific business, there has been an uptick in that. And I think it goes back to people see the value in a professional cat sitter, and they obviously know that we have the experience, and that's great that they see that. So I think there has been a lot more of that since we've opened it.
What other kind of trends or shifts have you seen just in your time between running, Barbie and now Durham Cat Company, in how people are receiving care, or what cat clients are wanting out of their care?
Yeah, I honestly think it's changed a ton. I remember when I was first starting off, and I would do meet and greets with dogs, and I would see cat things or see the cat, and I would say, "Oh, okay, so what does your cat need?" And they would say, "Oh, no, they'll be fine." And I was shocked every time, and it happened multiple times.
Yeah.
And if I didn't in the moment, because I probably wasn't brave enough to back then, but I would send them a message later and be like, "Hey, I don't want to leave your cat without care for that long. Like, even if you don't pay me, I don't care. Just how can I help this cat? Like, where can I feed him? Tell me where the litter box is. Like, I just want to make sure." So it seemed back then that things were a lot different. They'd just go away for the weekend and throw some food out. They'll be fine. Or just not tell their dog sitter about it at all. So I do think it's changed a lot for the better now, which is great. And I think people now view cat care as just as important as dog care. And I would say that most of our clients actually do 2 visits a day over 1, which that was a little surprising to me, but I do it for my cats when I travel too. So it's fine. I get it. But it's great that people see the value in us coming multiple times a day just for their cats. So there's definitely been a shift.
As pet sitters and dog walkers, we know that some pets struggle with anxiety, whether it's thunderstorms, fireworks, or just being home alone. But did you know that calming music can actually help them relax? That's why so many pet pros turn to the peaceful pet music, Calm Music for Pets on YouTube. This channel is packed with soothing melodies and nature sounds designed to create a peaceful environment for pets. Sitters and walkers use it during visits to help calm anxious pets, and it's perfect for your own furry companions too. Want to help your clients? Share the channel with them, or just start playing it on their TV before you leave. Give every pet, including yours, a little more peace in their day. Search for the peaceful pet music, Calm Music for Pets on YouTube, and hit the bell to subscribe so you never miss a moment of calm. Yeah, you mentioned doing the meet and greet, and you're talking to the dog client, and then a cat runs by. That led us to adding a question to our meet and greet form of, are there any other pets in the home? Because we used to just say, who are we caring for? What pets do you need cared for? They'd fill out that, and then it was it really came to a head where one time I was taking care of a dog, and I heard meowing coming from a room. And I opened it up, and there was the cat with a filter, with water, and with a litter box. And it was like they had just put the cat in the room and not told us about it at all. And I was like, well, okay. And it's like you, we have seen a transition now to where people are going, yeah, when we started, if they did have a cat, they'd ask us, did you come every other day? That's even if they asked us. Now it's, I want you to come every day, twice a day. Honestly, for us, our hour-long services are more popular among cat clients than anybody else. They want you to come in, play cat TV, sit on the ground, all that stuff. And it's very fun to see that. And I think that it's just as cat owners start seeing what their options are, they're really taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and maybe that was the thing back then. It wasn't seen as available to people with cats, and so they're like, oh well, I guess we'll just do what we have to do and they'll be fine. But yeah, there's a lot more options now, and we were the same way when it was just Barbie and Company. We had 45-minute and hour-long visits, and I don't think we ever had a dog in either one of those slots. They were always cats. And the same, like you said, just even if the cat was shy or not very friendly, they're like, can you just sit on the couch and like be in our house and around them, because they like having people around. We're like, okay, if you want to pay for that, of course,
Yep. It's one of the very few asks that I go, yeah, if you're willing to pay for it, I'll do it.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We've gotten that too. They're just more comfortable, or they're a social eater. I feel like we have a lot of cat clients who are social eaters, and they're just like, I want you to come in, put the food down, and then go sit at the dining room table, and the cat will come out from wherever it is, and the cat's going to eat. And then sure enough,
that's what happens. I know. And we have a couple that, like, this is probably one of those examples of, is that weird? Like, will you do that? There's a couple that like to be pet while they eat, and that's the only way that they'll eat. And so after they tell us that meat, they're like, I'm like, no, I'll do that. I don't care. Like,
you're telling me I have to pet a cat? How dare you?
Right.
What is this?
I know.
What do you think some of or maybe the biggest misconceptions are that some people have about making this switch, especially if they're dog walker, dog sitter heavy, making the switch to cat care only?
I think for me, what I was worried about is that I wouldn't be busy enough. I just didn't think it was possible. And a lot of people that I talk to, whether in the business or not, were like, you can't do that. There's no way you could do this full time and be sustainable and pay all your bills. And so I think, obviously it's not the same for every area and things could be different. But fortunately for us, we're in a bigger city and people love to travel around here, which is great for us. So we typically have to stop accepting new clients even around like April until August usually, because the clients we have, since we have so many, they keep us busy enough. And then we stop taking new clients again around November for the holidays until the end of the year. So we just stay busy enough with who we already have because people just love to travel around here, which is awesome. So that was one thing at the beginning where a lot of people, including myself, was like, am I going to be busy enough? But that was one of those things that, like I mentioned earlier with the time to pet reports, it was amazing to be able to print everything out and say, okay, yeah, now after this many months or whatever, like we can do this. So
right. Yeah. So because I know that's been that's a concern where, especially if you're a person who have dogs and you go, well, I require 3 visits a day for dogs. Well, if I switch to cats, all of a sudden I've got to find 3 cat clients for every 1 dog client that I had. How is this going to work? But like you're talking about, Mandi, the trends are cat clients typically are still booking multiple visits a day. And by the way, they're booking longer visits if they're an option. And so the combination of both of those also makes you more profitable too, because you're not having to drive in between each visit, right? Like it seems like it really does help balance a lot of those things out.
Yeah. And I think when I was starting to notice things like that, and in the final month/year that I was still doing dogs, it was really tough for me because with dog walking and having a strict schedule that I needed to be there by, I had these cat clients that wanted twice a day and I only had X amount of morning slots, or I had ones that wanted the longer visits and I couldn't do it because I had to be done by, 12 to get going on the dogs. And so that's when it was starting to get really frustrating for me. And I was like, I want to do cat sitting full time. Like, I can do it. And unfortunately, no offense to my sweet dog clients, like, it was messing up what I wanted to do for cat sitting. And I couldn't offer it to them, or I had to turn them down, or, say I can only do one visit, or I can do a really shorter visit. And I didn't want to do that. So
yeah. I know with the cats versus dogs scheduling too, right? Like, dogs, they're really dependent on you getting outside. And so you get locked into time blocks really quick with them that you can't fluctuate. Not saying that you just blow off when the cats need a visit or whatever, especially with medications and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there are those where we always ask, like, does it matter what time of day I come over? And when they say no, it's like, fantastic. Right now, all of a sudden, I can fill those weird gaps. I can make my route a lot more efficient if I'm moving around 3 or 4 different cats instead of dogs, because then I've got to do a lot of other things to take into account. So it really does help simplify that too. And I know from your perspective, if you've seen that kind of more simplified, or you have an ease of schedule or route planning for yourself.
Yeah, because that's exactly what was happening. Is I would have a certain amount of cats that I would want to see on one side of Durham, but I had to be back on the other side to walk a dog by 12:30. And so then I was having to go back and forth because I didn't finish them in time. And it was creating more work and more gas and more driving, when if I just didn't have the dogs to begin with, then I could do slower and get everything done on each side of town before I moved to the other side. And because Durham is a pretty big city, and so we don't even service the whole city. It's so big. But there's different parts, and if you're going back and forth a bunch, it gets to be a lot.
Adds up. Well, you mentioned that you're mostly a solo operator, but you did have some people who worked very part-time for you.
Yes.
When you made this transition, did they make that transition with you?
Yes. And so my main sitter is, her name is Sage. She's been with me for over 2 years, and she's amazing. And we work really well together. And if either of us is struggling with a spicy cat or getting a cat medicine, like, we can work with each other really well. So she, bless her heart, worked since the very start of Durham Cat Company. And so she did both businesses with me. So we had 2 time to pet accounts, and keeping up both of her schedules for 2 years. I just am so thankful for her, because I know how big of a pain that was. And when January hit, I was like, we just have one account, one schedule to look at. Like, your life will be much more simplified after this. And I know she was happy. So I felt bad.
Oh, well, I mean, because that is a lot to ask for, keeping both of those. And then for you also going, I can't overlap these 2 things, because all of a sudden I'm going to get disjointed and out of whack.
It was so much work. And like, looking back, I don't know how I did it for so long. And I'm thankful for one schedule now.
Well, so are you looking to hire more and grow your team?
We usually have 3 to 4 people around the summer months and the holidays, all very part-time, just because we need it. And with only having a certain amount of time slots in the morning or the evening, and people wanting the twice a day, it's kind of essential. But I don't really want to hire much more than just how I've been doing it the past couple years, with having a main part-time sitter and then a little bit of seasonal help sprinkled in. We could grow. I mean, the demand is there. When I was envisioning the company, I never wanted it to be a big company. And I think with cats in particular, we've worked really, really hard to get a lot of them to trust us and to come out of their shell. And if we just had a rotating door of a huge amount of sitters, I think that would really break their trust, and they would go back into hiding. And so, and really for myself, I wouldn't want that for my own cats either. I have a blind cat, and then my one cat that I mentioned that has extreme anxiety. They wouldn't be happy with a new person coming in every time. And so I've thought about that when running my business as well. So we definitely could grow, but I think people like us being a smaller team. They like that it's the same people and that it's not going to be, oh, who's going to show up today? Because I think with cats, that's so much more important.
Yeah, it is, and we've seen that too in our own business. While we're not cat only, we do
Yeah.
try and for cat clients, put them in the same general time block. We operate so that anybody can step in if necessary, and that we
Hmm.
have those built-in backups and internal stuff. We don't do a one for one, but we do go, okay, as best we can for our cat clients. Let's try and get them used to one and two people at
Hmm.
most, because then you really can make the most progress with them, especially with those ones who they say, oh, you'll probably never see them or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you could really start to know those quirks and those little intricacies of them.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of clients that I think would prefer that I just go by, but it's just not possible. I mean, there's things that happen. My dog was at the ER last week, and so Sage had to step in a ton. And, I'd like to travel. And so when I travel, other people step in. So they do have to be used to that, but there are some that even in 2 years, there's probably 50 so cats that like Sage has never even met because they're just so particular or the clients are particular and they just want me to go by and that's okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I'm going to add a flag to our profile here for spicy cats. That's one
yes.
that I'm going to do now. You said that phrase, and I had to write it down because I was like, I need that immediately because I have 10 clients immediately that came to mind. I was like, that's spicy.
Spicy. That's what R is, and then the little abbreviation is the fire emoji because that's what they are. They're spicy.
even
Yep.
well, I know. I know you just, you as you mentioned, like you're 2 years into running Durham Cat Company, but it feels like you're just starting up. So
Yeah.
it may feel silly to kind of ask this, but like, what do you think's next for your company? Like, what are you wanting to do moving forward?
I think since we're down to one business and 100% cats, we've been brainstorming on different things that we can do and different things we can offer. I think we might send a survey or something out to our current clients and see what they think and, open to suggestions, see if there's anything like if they want longer than an hour visits or just something that we're missing that they could find, you know, helpful. So, yeah, we're definitely going to look into that. But as far as expanding, we're definitely going to keep the smaller team for now. So I don't know. Stay tuned.
And work on your sleep and work life balance. Yeah, after all
Right.
these years.
I'm still catching up. So it'll take a little bit more time to catch up.
Well, and the client surveys are really an underappreciated aspect of our
Hmm.
industry. We consistently will have thoughts of, well, I know our clients use us, but I don't know why, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of the weirdest, um, I don't know, like feelings and to not know. And so it's just asking is what we had to get used to of just I want to know what you think. And
Hmm.
not saying that I'm going to make major changes, right? Because one of our first surveys we sent out, and everyone was like, cheaper prices. And I was like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
anyway.
Yeah.
So then, then you was like, okay, if they're asking for that, what can we do on the other? Like, what's a more positive thing? And so working on value adds or things like that, or are
Hmm.
we communicating what we're doing good enough? And it can lead to just a lot of different ways of thinking. Because especially if we have a perception of our company, asking for information from the outside just it blows away our own preconceived notions and biases. Again, it's our business. I have thoughts of what I think it is, but also I'm not my ideal client. So I don't
Yeah.
know, right? And so that's been the best thing for those client surveys is to say, hey, I'm not my ideal client. You're my ideal client. Talk to me, please, and get some
Yeah.
ideas flowing from there.
Exactly.
Well, Mandi, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing this transition with you and your lesson that you've done, the lessons that you've learned through this process and how you're meeting the needs of these of the cat parents in Durham with excellence and everything. And I love this, and I love the reminder of the power of specific messaging and niching down to find those clients who need you. For those who want to follow along with you and everything that you've got going on, how best can they do that?
DurhamCatCompany.com. We'll have all of our information on there, and social media is Durham Cat Company. And we're still growing. It seems like we are kind of starting over, so we're trying to gain up everything that we kind of lost with closing the other business. So we're excited to keep getting our name known out there.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I'll have those links in the show notes and on our website so people can click right to those. Mandi, again, this was an immense pleasure, and I'm so thankful for your time today. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
I love during the conversation where Mandi said that just because we start something doesn't mean it has to end up looking anything like we started. This mindset is absolutely critical to the life of an entrepreneur and small business owner. When we lock ourselves away and think that just because we started something, we have to finish it and make it look exactly like it was when we started, this limits our ability and potential to adapt and change and persist over time. When we look at what resilience means as a business, it means that we must change. There must be a life cycle and course through which we travel as a business, and embracing that, taking advantage of that, leaning into that as a critical component to us. That is what can set us apart. Being willing to adapt, admit when we were wrong, and seek after new and different ways to serve our clients and live the life that we want. Otherwise, we'll simply lock it all away and run a business that quickly leads to irrelevancy. How do we get around that, though? By having a posture of humility and viewing change as a necessity, and always looking at the next opportunity. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet, and our friends at the Peaceful Pet Music, Calm Music for Pets YouTube channel for making this show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.